Welcome, deep divers. Today we're plunging right into the high-octane world of WWE Monday Night Raw #1686. This one was live from Springfield, Massachusetts Mass Mutual Center. And our mission today, it's really to unpack these final explosive buildups and honestly some pretty surprising betrayals, all setting the stage for the colossal Wrestlepalooza event that's just around the corner. We're going to highlight the key players, dissect their motivations, and really get into what it all means for the big matches.
Exactly. And this Raw, it wasn't just, another Monday night. It felt strategically critical, really shaping alliances, turning up the heat on rivalries, and definitely setting the tone for Wrestlepalooza. We'll explore who's actually ready to climb that big hill, as they say. And maybe who's just looking to cause some chaos.
Okay, let's kick this off with a huge moment. A really thunderous return. John Cena. Back on Raw, and the Springfield crowd, wow, they just erupted. And, he's got that connection there, right? Played football at Springfield College. His family was even there in the audience, which must have been pretty special.
Oh, absolutely. And Cena, he knows how to use that energy. His promo was powerful, calling himself the last proper champion. I mean, that's not just nostalgia talking. It felt like a strategic positioning, Just setting up this challenge against Brock Lesnar at Wrestlepalooza is more than just a match. It's like a battle for the company's identity, almost. Where does WWE's legacy stand now? That's a big statement.
Yeah, it really makes you think, though, why accept that challenge against Lesnar? Especially when, like you said, he's only got 6 appearances left. That's not many. And facing Lesnar, let's be honest, always carries huge physical risks. Is it purely for the fans, like you said, or is there something else? Like choosing Lesnar specifically to cement his own legends, maybe? Beating the final boss?
Well, his stated reason was pretty clear. For the fans. And he did explicitly say he wants to leave WWE better. He framed it perfectly, didn't he? A final showdown between 2-generation talents, acknowledging both their impacts. And I actually appreciated the honesty when he admitted he doesn't know if he can beat Lesnar. That uncertainty makes it more compelling, but he vowed to bring the fight. So yeah, it underlines his legacy, but it also highlights that real uncertainty. It's a gamble, for sure. Could make him look selfless or maybe tragically overconfident.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to watch. So while Cena's dealing with his legacy, you've got others just aggressively redefining theirs. Let's pivot from that sort of individual heroism to the really unpredictable world of tag teams. Loyalty's everything, but betrayal seems like it's always just waiting, right?
Yeah.
We're talking the Usos, LA Knight, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. Big collision course here. Last week, we saw the Usos challenge Breaker and Reed for Wrestlepalooza.
Yeah.
Then Knight interferes. And it ends with Jey Uso spearing Knight after saving Jimmy. Man, the tension just ramped up. Oh, it boiled over backstage this week. Absolutely. LA Knight was furious, found Jey Uso. Adam Pearce had to step in, play mediator, And Pearce pretty quickly granted Knight's demand. Get me a partner. I want Breaker and Reed tonight. And Knight, maybe surprisingly, maybe not, he wanted Jimmy Uso.
Right. And Jimmy initially said no, didn't he? Like, hey, we've already got our match set for Wrestlepalooza.
Yeah.
But then you saw that little moment between Jey and Jimmy. Jimmy kind of bristled when Jey pulled out the Ulafala talk, that Samoan family code, almost like Jey was telling him what to do. So Jimmy says no, but then changes his mind. What happened there?
Yeah, that's a really interesting part, that immediate change of heart. Later on, backstage, Jimmy finds LA Knight and says, okay, I'm in, let's do it. That quick flip tells you something about their dynamic. Maybe Jimmy wanting to assert his own independence from Jey. It wasn't just about the Ulafala. Maybe it was Jimmy making his own call, even if it meant teaming with a guy they just had beef with. And calculated risk, you could say. It creates a lot of unpredictability for the Usos.
So we get the match, Breaker and Reed versus Knight and Jimmy Uso, and almost immediately Breaker just zeroes in on Knight. Vicious shoulder tackle into the ring step.
Textbook strategy,
Yes.
right? Take out the biggest threat, isolate the other guy, makes it almost a handicap match.
Exactly. And that pretty much set the tone for the rest of it. Breaker and Reed get the win. Then post-match, Jey runs out, chair in hand, to save Jimmy from getting beaten down further. Standard Uso stuff.
But then, here's the twist. LA Knight, he's recovered. He grabs the chair Jey dropped, fakes like he's going to shake JG's hand, then boom, hits it with the BFT. Blunt force trauma just laid him out. A clear, shocking betrayal to end Raw. Chaos.
Wow. So this isn't just like a random attack. What does this mean? For the Usos, for Knight,
Right.
heading to Wrestlepalooza, alliance is just crumbling. This has got to have bigger implications.
Oh, absolutely. It throws that Usos versus Breaker and Reed match at Wrestlepalooza into serious doubt, psychologically at least. Jimmy's brief little rebellion, teaming with Knight, and then Knight betraying Jan so brutally. The Usos' unity looks really fragile now, and for Knight, it paints him as this
Ruthless wild card, willing to burn any bridge, maybe sets him up as a major player, looking for chaos, or maybe something more. Yeah, this wasn't just about one win tonight. This felt like shifting the power balance.
Okay, from those shifting tag alliances, left to dive into a rivalry that's just dripping with personal animosity. The mixed tag team match. CM Punk and AJ Lee against Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. This has been simmering for weeks, right? And last night it just completely boiled over.
It really did. That in-ring promo segment, absolutely electric. So much bad blood there. And Punk, being Punk, straight away criticizing Rollins and Lynch's style, questioning if they can even share the spotlight. Even suggested they share, one brain cell? Classic Punk, trying to undermine their unity, get under their skin.
But Rollins fired back hard. That felt like a really calculated personal shot, calling AJ Lee the best decision Punk made in his private life, but a terrible business one. Ouch. And then predicting Punk would bail on her if things went wrong, referencing his past walkouts. That's nasty stuff. What's the strategy there, hitting below the belt like that?
Yeah, deeply personal. Trying to hit Punk where it hurts, bringing up that reputation for leaving. Rollins wasn't just talking trash, he was trying to plant seeds of doubt. In Punk's head, maybe even in AJ's. But AJ Lee's response, man, she was fierce and smart. Explained she was only involved because Rollins brought Becky into it. Made it clear she wasn't just some side piece. And her mentioning her past injuries from her book, almost daring them, that showed resilience. Plus, emphasizing her spontaneous but Puerto Rican from New Jersey temperament, basically saying, don't underestimate me, I'm unpredictable. She turned it right back on them.
And the way that segment ended really set the stage perfectly for Wrestlepalooza. Lynch walks out during the argument with Rollins. Rollins shoves Punk in frustration. And just when you think it's calming down, Lynch runs back in and just nails AJ Lee with the manhandle slam.
Boom, yeah.
That wasn't just a move, it felt like a declaration. These two couples are going in with absolutely zero holding back, all animosity.
Exactly. It shows how personal it's become. Lynch hitting AJ like that. It's a direct message. This isn't just about Punk and Rollins anymore.
Yeah.
Guarantees that Wrestlepalooza match is going to be loaded with emotion, probably some real aggression. They want dominance.
Okay, let's off gear slightly. Let's look at the Women's World Championship picture. Io Sky defending against Stephanie Vacher at Wrestlepalooza.
Right, we saw the contract signing. Pretty standard stuff in Adam Pearce's office.
Yeah.
But what was interesting was what happened right after. Asuka, speaking for Kairi Sane, immediately challenges Vacher. It just highlights how fluid things are in the women's division. Alliances forming, breaking. You sign a title match and bam, another challenge pops up. Champions can never relax.
And that led straight into Vacher versus Kairi Sane in a singles match. Did you notice Zayn went for the handshake at the start?
Yeah, but Asuka immediately shut that down from ringside, clearly calling the shots there.
Right. And Vacher gets the win with that new move, the SVB. Looked nasty, a variation of the butterfly lung blower, right?
Yeah, basically dropping them face first onto the knee or shoulder. It's impactful, makes a statement. Then post-match, Io Sky comes out, actually prevents Asuka from getting in Vacher's face. And then we got that handshake between Sky and Vacher, the Wrestlepalooza opponents. Seems respectful, but maybe Io just making a point, like, this is my business.
What did you make of that backstage bit later? Asuka confronting Io, Sky insisting she wants to face Vacher alone, but Asuka clearly has doubts, thinks she needs help. Is that confidence from Sky a strength, showing she believes in herself? Or is it maybe a weakness, leaving her vulnerable, especially against someone like Vacher with that new finisher?
Well, it could definitely be both, couldn't it? It shows Sky's got incredible self-belief, which is great. But Asuka's doubt, maybe it hints at a potential blind spot. Overconfidence, perhaps, makes their faction dynamic interesting, too. And you gotta remember, Rhea Ripley's already put Vacher on notice, said she's coming back for that title no matter who wins at Wrestlepalooza. Ripley's shadow is huge over that whole division, makes this Sky-Vacher match feel even more significant in the bigger picture.
Definitely adds another layer. So while those main stories are building, Raw also gave us a whole bunch of other kind of wild, unpredictable moments. Reminds you that chaos and sometimes just plain weirdness are always bubbling under the surface. Let's touch on some of those. Lyra Valkyria got a win over Roxanne Perez. Perez went after the injured back, of course.
Yeah, and Raquel Rodriguez getting ejected, that was a tactical blunder for Perez, really. Left Valkyria alone.
But the post-match stuff with Bayley, what was that?
The Zarbre. She comes out, looks like she saves Valkyria from Judgment Day, then starts hugging everyone. Commentators, Alicia Taylor, the ref, fans, hugging the ref.
So weird. And then later backstage, she tears into Valkyria for apparently not waiting long enough after knocking on her door.
It's like mental conflict personified. Is she a face?
Yeah.
A heel? WWE seems to be playing with this tweener role, making her instability her main characteristic.
Yeah.
Makes her completely unpredictable. You have no idea what her motives are. Fascinating, but very strange.
Yeah, definitely keeping us guessing. Then there was New Day. Did you catch their promo during the commercial break? Announcing they got 15,000 signatures to ban Penta's Mexican Destroyer move, claiming it's too dangerous.
15,000, that's dedication.
But then what happens in the match? Penta beats Kofi Kingston.
And uses the Mexican Destroyer to do it. The very move they wanted banned.
So what's the deal there? Is Adam Pearce just ignoring them? Or is this strategic, like letting Penta use it because it gets attention?
It raises that whole meta question, doesn't it? Where does the power really lie? Is Pearce letting it slide for entertainment value? Is it a deliberate snub to New Day, showing petitions don't mean much? Kind of questions the whole system.
Exactly, makes you wonder. And then things got even messier after the match. New Day jumps Penta.
Only for the War Raiders to come out and make the save for Penta. So now they're aligned. Unexpected.
Okay, and we got to talk about El Grande Americano.
Oh, man, that whole situation. His win over Dragon Lee was elaborate.
Involved 3 Americanos, right? One popped out from under the ring.
Yep. And another one attacked AJ Styles outside, causing the distraction for the pin.
The coordination there was something else. It felt like more than just random interference, like a planned operation.
Definitely hints at something bigger. An organized group, someone pulling the strings. Adds this whole layer of conspiracy theory around him.
And speaking of groups, Dominic Mysterio was celebrating his new AAA Mega Championship win with Judgment Day.
Looked pretty pleased with himself. But Finn Balor, he seems suspicious about El Grande Americano. Kept looking at Dom.
Yeah, you saw that look. Maybe a little crack forming in Judgment Day's unity there.
Could be. And then, right at the end of that segment, Rusev shows up. Unexpected.
Challenges Dominic for the Intercontinental Championship, and Dom looked around for backup.
And nobody stepped up. For once, Judgment Day wasn't there to protect him.
Leaves Dom looking pretty vulnerable. Might have to actually defend a title on his own for a change. That'll be interesting. Puts pressure on Judgment Day, too.
Wow. Okay, so we have covered a lot of ground. Alliances shifting, these shocking betrayals, huge declarations from John Cena facing that big hill against Lesnar to LA Knight just stabbing Jey Uso in the back, metaphorically speaking. And yeah, Bayley's whole situation. It's just crystal clear. Wrestlepalooza is shaping up to be completely unpredictable. The whole landscape feels like it's shifting constantly.
Yeah, if you zoom out, this Raw really highlighted how fast things can change in WWE. Personal issues, ambitions, they drive everything, often in really explosive ways. Those lines between who's a partner and who's a rival, they are razor thin right now. Makes for some really compelling TV. Keeps you guessing.
So, thinking about all this, what does it mean for you as you're looking ahead to Wrestlepalooza? What thread from this week's Raw are you going to be watching most closely? Well, here's something to think about. In this world where, legends return, but trusted allies suddenly turn their backs, what does loyalty even mean anymore when you're chasing victory? And what kind of long-term impact will these betrayals, these shifting alliances have, not just in the ring, but on the future of the roster, the whole dynamic of WWE? Lots to chew on before the big one.
Absolutely. And hey, before you go, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Raw and all the Wrestlepalooza buildup, please do take a second to hit that like button and maybe leave a comment with your thoughts, and definitely subscribe if you haven't already. It genuinely helps us keep bringing you these kinds of in-depth looks. Until next time, keep watching and stay curious.